I sometimes find myself grumpy and under a cloud, and I'm with my wife, and she'll say to me, what's going on with you? You seem a bit grumpy. I go, nothing. And she says, come on, why don't we just talk about it? I said, I've got nothing to say. And she eventually sort of almost has to use a crowbar to winkle it out of me. And of course, when I talk about it, I feel a lot better. I've actually come up with some solutions to the problem. And then I was thinking, if you take this up a notch, there's a lot of men out there, I know, who are dealing with some very significant problems. Like, some of them are actually worried about whether they're still going to have a job in 3 months' time, and they've got families to support. Or they feel like they're failing at work. Or they're worried about their kids. Like, their kids are addicted to their devices, or they're being bullied at school, or they're anxious, or they're depressed. There was a story this friend of mine told me about. He was up on a mine site a few months ago, and he walked up to this man who was looking a bit down. He just introduced himself and, like, how you doing? And the guy kind of just didn't say very much. He was just sort of looking down like this. And my friend said, well, I noticed that over there there's a room with a plaque on it. It's got the same last name as you. Is that named after someone in your family? And the guy goes, yeah, it's named after my son, and he died a few months ago. My friend went, well, that's terrible. I'm so sorry to hear that. And the guy said, well, thanks for saying that, but you're the first person, in this whole place who's asked how I'm doing. And people actually even avoid me in the corridors because it's like they're too embarrassed to talk to me. That's just terrible, isn't it? And you could kind of say, well, these guys are suffering in silence. And it's their fault because they're not reaching out. Every psychologist or psychiatrist will tell you that the way to deal with these situations is to talk to someone. It helps you find solutions to the problem yourself, just in speaking to someone who's listening to you with some empathy. But I don't think the problem is with men who are suffering, not reaching out. I think the problem is with the rest of us who aren't making ourselves available. And I ask guys, why don't you make yourselves available? And they say, well, I just don't have the time. If some guy's going on and on and on about his problem, I just don't have the time. I'm too busy. Or something like, what if he starts crying? What would I do? Or I just don't know what to say. I don't know how to be of help. Well, you can see that there's a big impasse here, right? So there's something that we've been doing in our mentor groups. That's a process we've been using that's really simple and effective. And in our mentor groups, we just get guys together and we actually just spend half an hour each mentoring each other. And this remarkable thing happened the other day where this man, he was being mentored by another guy, and I asked for a debrief at the end. This guy says, I've got a serious illness and my life expectancy is very short. And I can't really talk to my wife about what I'm going to do. So I haven't really talked to anyone about the future. And this is the first time. And I actually now have got some things I can do that I know I need to get on with. And that man just looked so light and so actually almost happy. He just in 20 minutes had worked out some solutions to this very serious problem. So I write about this process in the article that's attached to this email. I really invite you to read it and strike up the courage to use this process with a man who's suffering. I'd love to hear from you how it goes. Just please send me an email or send a contact form from the website. And also please go to our website, mensbusiness.net, for more resources on mentoring and more articles.